ourself, friend. Well, if they don't like what I'm doing now, then fuck them. Don't trip, I up the ante, learning licks like John Frusciante, smoking spliffs and popping candy, idolizing Sid and Nancy. Woo, rock and roll in my soul, bumping, knocking cold on the dole, fish and chips and games consoles, council house and violent flow. But life went sweet at home. Mum and dad took a trip and they split shalom. What will be, but me, I hate to see my mom alone. Late night crying, get so high to try to silence sounds of fighting. Through the walls I heard love dying, so I focused on my... That's what it was. I focused on my... Now let's go back. Let's go back. These kids don't play my shit. I never had a gold plaque. My style is old school, but I swear this ain't a throwback. I put my visions into on a dope track to understand the place I'm coming from. When I was 16, I was a sick teen, I was a victim of my head. I was just 16, up in the kitchen, racking up lines till my nose bled. 16, with an affliction, in an addiction with my bread. I was just 16, I was quite sick then, I was a prick then, I was a pleb, but fuck it. We're all misguided individuals, life can suck it. My cup ain't half full, man, I'm filling off the whole bucket. I'll drink my tears so I can drown my sorrow, sing like I might die tomorrow. Live don't for no, I go for broke on every single song I wrote, and every single song I write brings freedom to my weary mind. A healing that you'll only find inside an intricate design of kicks and snares and fat bass lines. I flip the script until I find my... It is what it is. I focus on my... Now on the track, on the track. Get it?
Good morning, everybody. I need to shut the volume off of this other phone. Got massive echoing going on. All right. Good morning, everybody. Oh. Oh my goodness, is that Betsy? Shabay? Hello. Good morning. Betsy, where are you from? Where are you watching me from? All right. I have a little bit of a guide that I want to go by this morning. First off, I want to say thank you for joining in and for coming and watching. And this is the first live stream of hopefully many. And I have an interesting problem, though, with the upcoming plans. I plan on leaving Missouri and I'm going to go to New Mexico shortly. I'm going to leave, and so hopefully I will be settled in New Mexico by Sunday, next Sunday morning at 9 o'clock Central, so that I can do this again, because I really do want to stay on schedule and I want to keep doing the 9 Central every Sunday. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm going to be leaving Southwest Missouri because it's killing me. My lupus, I used to live in Southwest Missouri and it does no good for my lupus, and so I'm dying over here, so I'm going to the mountains of New Mexico, and so we'll see how that goes as far as continuing with the live stream. But good morning from Houston. And is it, I hope it's say it right, that's Luong? Luong. I always wonder how that's pronounced, but I love you, my dear. um, so this live stream, again, the goal I kind of talked about in a couple of videos. Live stream purpose is to hopefully we can kind of come together. All right, Lou. Hopefully we can come together and kind of bounce ideas off of each other of how we strengthen our relationships with the issues that we may have among ourselves, or if we are the caregiver of someone. Chris left this morning. He had to go run an errand. While he's in Missouri, he's in high demand, so he's not here very often. But if he's around, he can come in and kind of talk about how it is as a caregiver that you can optimize the relationships and keep them built strong, because it is being a chronically ill person or caring for a chronically ill person is such a challenge, as you guys know. And whether that be yourself or a family member, and man, sorry, my allergies are really bothering me this morning. I'm going to be real annoying with clearing my throat. But anyway, so I wanted to talk a little bit first off about the fact that I did my morning devotional reading, and it happened to be about mustard seeds and planting mustard seeds where you go. And I was just like, it's crazy how applicable that almost any time that I do my daily devotion, because I don't do it every day, anytime that I think about doing it. So here's what it says, and I was just astounded. The kingdom of God is like a mustard seed, which is the smallest seed you plant in the ground. Yet when planted, it grows and becomes the largest of all garden plants, with such big branches that the birds of the air can perch in its shade. And all along I have thought, I just want to plant this seed with this live stream. I just want to have this little seed that gets started, because I realized that at the beginning this is going to be like, nothing. I'm shocked that there's even 5 people, so thank you. Thank you to those 5. And Nikki, hi, good morning. Oh, I'm glad that you don't struggle with that stuff either, but thank you so much for being here, Nikki. You're always so fun. But it was just so interesting, because I thought all along, all I want to do is just try to start with this little seed and hopefully grow it into something that's meaningful, something that people can perch onto and can get get a support system, a nice big branch that they can sit on that supports them, and that they don't fall when they need a place to hang. And that's kind of what I'm looking to build here, is I guess a mustard plant. I guess I'm wanting to plant a little mustard seed today and build it into a nice sturdy tree, so that we can come together every Sunday and just support each other. Like I said, develop ideas of what some people may be having challenges specifically that they need some help with, and maybe Chris and I can utilize the tools that we've learned along the way to help some of those who are still struggling with being able to maintain their relationship, or build relationships, maybe mend some fences, like if they have a broken relationship and you need to figure out how to mend that. Because when you're a person who's going through something that hasn't been diagnosed yet, people think you're nuts. I mean, it's like Ren said in his chapter 7, he was like, I wanted to take the results of my tests and shove them in everybody's faces who thought I was a hypochondriac. Because, yeah, I mean, that's a real deal. And I might have this annoying glare on my glasses. That's a real deal, and that's a real problem that people who, especially when you first start to get ill and you don't have a diagnosis and you're trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with you, and it's that limbo time where you don't know exactly what's going on. You just know that you feel terrible, and you don't have a diagnosis, so you don't have any answers. And that's a very challenging time for loved ones, family members, friends, to be able to stick with you when it just sounds like that you're just complaining about everything. So, anyway, you're not late, Marianne. You're just on time. You are right on time, my dear. There's no late here. I'm a gabber, so I've just been gabbing. I don't know if you guys ever watch Big Bang Theory, but one of my favorite episodes is when Sheldon is down in the laundry room and Penny goes in and she says something about jibber jabber, and he starts to say something and she says, "Oh my gosh, you're about to jibber jabber about jibber jabber." That's me. I'm a jibber jabberer. But so this mustard seed idea, it just made me think, okay, well, I have to come up with an acronym for what my plant is going to be called. I have to name my plant. So I was looking at the way that I worded the title of the live stream, and it's building a strong, supportive foundation of relationships among chronically ill pain patients. So I'm like, how can I come up with an acronym out of that? Well, building a strong, supportive is BASS. I mean, how appropriate is that? We got a bass. For bass fish, who's kind of our motto guy. So, and then Frappachi, I guess. I mean, like, Frappachi, foundation of relationships among pain patients and chronic condition and illness. I don't know. So we're gonna have a Frappuccino. We're gonna be a Frappachi. Anyway, I don't know if that's going to stick or not, but I was like, I got to come up with an acronym so that it's a little easier to deal with. But that one's a terrible one. It can be any worse, except for the bass part. The bass part's pretty fitting. But anyway, all right. So, how many is there of the few of you guys? We have Nikki, who said that not struggling with any chronic illness. Good afternoon from Norway. Is there anyone of you guys that does have any kind of a chronic condition or is taking care of someone, a family member or friend that has a chronic condition, and kind of go from there as far as, because I want to try to target it to who is present. And my memory is pretty terrible, so I'm going to write down some of this stuff. Oh, Marianne, oh my gosh. Honey, how long have you had lupus? It makes me tear up. Just because of, my own situation. Diagnosed in 98. Okay. Bless your heart. And are you a flarer? Like, do you get flares regularly, or are you pretty well controlled? Not to get like into your personal medical. I don't want to get, Oh, your mom started chemo long. Oh, Lou. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Hopefully it's for something that they can target and treat. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes more sense. All right. Marianne, I got you. That makes more sense. And on Bldg, oh my gosh, guys, Bldg. So the Bldg situation, if you have seen my previous video that was the massively long-winded one, I had been on Bldg for a few months, And while I was still working, and my insurance company, which was I think Blue Cross Blue Shield, decided they didn't want to pay for it anymore, so I had to go off of it, and that was in I think 2014 or 15. And after I went off of it, my health just went down the drain, and by the end of that year, it was in like maybe March or April that they said they weren't going to keep paying for it, and by the end of that year I couldn't work anymore. Like, I could show up in the office one day a week, and the rest of the time I had to work from home, just like calling patients and doing lab results and stuff like that. That's all I could handle was from home, like laying in bed with my computer. So I realized it was time to, it wasn't fair to patients to not be able to show up and be there for them whenever they needed to see their doctor and their doctor wasn't there. So I left my practice, and recently, in the last couple of years, and actually within the last 5 years, I've had 2 hospitalizations for like a psychotic break that lasted 4 and 5 days, and with no real answer to what was going on there. And then I had a stroke that's in my brainstem, and seizures, which I'm about to get worked up for at KU neurology. They think I might have developed epilepsy from long-term lupus inflammation. But I had a dagger in my heart the other day with my rheumatologist, my main doctor, who said if you would have been able to stay on Bldg, we probably could have avoided these complications. And I was just heartbroken, because after leaving work, you get on, I long-term disability, got on Medicare, had a supplement for a while, and was able to do Bldg. Traveling with medical care is challenging, because you can't. I would have to have a doctor in each state that we go to, because they can't write orders across states. So to get a Bldg infusion, my doctor in Missouri, who is my main doctor, can't get me infused in while we're in Arizona or New Mexico. So I would have to have a doctor in each place. So anyway, they had the insurance company had kept increasing the premium, and so I decided that it's no longer worth it. And that was maybe, I don't know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I was like, I'm all right. I can handle not having a supplement on my insurance. Well, that's no longer the case, and boy, do I regret dropping it, because now I can't get a supplement. I don't know if any of you guys are in the United States and you have any issues with that, let me know, because, dude, I can't figure out what I'm supposed to do with dealing with all this stuff that I'm now dealing with the hospitalizations and seizures. I'm on medication for it, but yeah, it's crazy. The other day, I was sitting here at my dinette table where I always do my videos, and I just kind of hadn't felt well for a few days, and I had done a video and I was editing it, and the next thing I know, I wake up and I am plastered on the top of this table. So I'm feeling all right this morning, but if you notice me like keel over on the table here, just know that I passed out or something, and you can just log out. It'll be all right. All right, so again, I don't want to get into people's medical histories and put you guys on blast here, but so we have Marianne, who has lupus, so yourself, and then Lou, mom with chemo. So those 2 mates. So one of you with it, and then another supporting a family member. And how is that going for each of you guys? Do you guys have good support systems? Do you have any problems with either? Yeah, that's amazing, Lou, that she's strong and has a positive attitude. Like other family members who just kind of shy away, or maybe are straining the relationships, are being strained because of the medical issues, and if that's the case, if you've had to step in and help to, I don't know, keep relationships strong and together, and like reassure people that it's okay if you don't have the answers, it's okay if you're uncomfortable, but just be supportive, be here, be present, you know, call in to check on mom and see if she's doing all right, you know, just letting her know that you care means a lot, that type of thing. It's all about how, you know, because unfortunately, it's really unfortunate that some people don't have these strong support systems, and it's hard to to bring in someone back who has finally said, you know, man, I just really can't deal with this. My wife's been sick for 10 years and I just can't do this anymore. It's hard. It would be hard to bring that person back to center, you know, and get them to not give up and to really like take stock and their love inventory for that person. And I know for me, I always am like with Chris, babe, I don't know how you put up with me. I am an absolute nightmare. I don't, you know, I don't do hardly anything. He does so much. And so for me, I'm used to being the caregiver type person. And so for me, it's hard for me to not be able to do what I normally do. And it's hard for me to accept help. So that's been a real challenge. And figuring that out has not been easy. Figuring out how to accept help has not been easy. And yeah, Marianne, for sure, the health system differences is frustrating, shocking. You know, as a doctor, I always thought the NHS system was probably not the way to go because of the wait time that it then creates. Like Ren was saying something like it took him 6 months to get in for an evaluation with the what was it, the infectious disease person or something. And whereas in the United States, you know, if you need an infectious disease person, you're probably getting in almost immediately, given just based on what the situation is. But sorry, sorry about the throat clearing nonsense. My allergies are going crazy. But now on the patient side, oh wow, Lou, that's amazing. From now looking at it from the patient perspective, I'm like, yeah, I would take the NHS system in a heartbeat, because what I'm dealing with from the patient side now is a nightmare. But from looking at it from a doctor's side, like the best way to take care of patients is to the healthcare system that we have here. So I don't know. There's got to be some kind of a meld and mix of the two that could be created, but. So, Marianne, does the light, does it cause you like skin problems, or is it issues with like migraines or your eyes, or is it a skin thing? I know prednisone. Anytime I get any kind of infection, which I think I'm starting to get a sinus infection, so I'll be going on antibiotics soon, I'm sure. But yeah, sun is a no-no, and I'm on obviously prednisone every day. Unfortunately, since my last hospitalization, I used to try to take holidays from prednisone as much as I could, because I can't stand the long-term effects of prednisone and the damage that it's already done to my body in general. But since being in the hospital at the end of March, I've had to stay on it because of the inflammation in my brain. They recommended that I stay on it at like 20 milligrams a day. I don't like it. I don't like it. The sunlight is a problem for me with prednisone, and anyway. But so, I mean, Lou, that's amazing that you run an oil business in Houston and are legally blind. Like, I don't want to call you out specifically, but dude, that's incredible. That's pretty incredible. How long had you been doing your business, or did you always have the vision? Were you always legally blind before, or did that happen after you started your business? I mean, that's actually really fascinating. Yeah. Yeah, Marianne, get it? Yeah. Oh, it was really cute seeing Ren on his, I think it was an Instagram post talking about in the morning getting out and getting some sunlight, which is great. I mean, totally, 100%. Sunlight is amazing. We get a little vitamin D. It's just a little happiness. Sunlight, just, endorphins and all of that. But unfortunately, some people we just can't be out in the sun for very long. And, being in Arizona during the winter, which I love because it's in the desert and it's, there's no ice and snow, but the urge to go sit outside with my parents, because my parents' RV in Arizona is literally right next door to us, and so they sit out in their lawn chairs looking across onto the lake and the mountains, and it's hard to not go out there and sit with them, and so I have to, cover up and go out, and then anyway, whatever. So sunlight is a major plus, but in small doses. Well, hello, Mrs. Applegate's Art. Applegate's Art. I'm glad you dropped by. And hello. We were just jibber jabbering about just kind of a basic introduction, getting kind of familiar with who's in the chat, and any challenges specifically. Since I love that it's just a small amount of people, I was hoping that there would be, around this amount of people, so that it was easy to navigate the chat and just get familiar with each other. And I'm like, I don't want to call out anybody's medical conditions, but what all you all suffering with? What have you got going on? And nice. That's cool. An artist. And I mean, what your name, Mrs. Applegate's Art, I mean, it just makes me think you're a teacher. Are you an art teacher? Late to the party, but late is better than never, Brandy. Thanks for coming and joining with us. Oh, and I agree, Marianne Lou is an inspiration. That's being born with the congenital cataracts and legally blind, developing your own oil business in Houston, incredible. Like, Lou, that's incredible. All right, and yeah, a teacher, middle school, not art. All right, that's fun. That is fun. And is it Jeannie Wolf? Is it Jeannie? Thank you for being here just to support. I appreciate that so much. Well, so here's my level of artistic. Let me get to these lovely things. I drew these. I just kind of hand drew these things because we're trying to figure out what our merchandising mottos or logos or whatever would look like. And so, like, I just drew that up, freehanded it, and Chris is like, first of all, I can't believe that you just did that. Like, it looks exactly like my Hobie kayak. He's like, that looks exactly like my well, it looks like my kayak. And he's like, and you can totally tell that that's a bass fish. And I was like, yeah. they're not great, but they're a guide for someone who knows what they're doing. Maybe they can figure out. But like, this campaign, I want us to get going on the Go Far, and the Far standing for fish and react. And so I don't know if you can see there's a fish, the word fish for the F, and then and obviously for the and sign, and then the R with the react. And I'm gonna bring this up. My daughter said that this guy looks like a sperm. That this I'm like, it's a worm that's clearly, you're nasty, you're dirty. That's clearly a worm. Anyway, and then over here, and he's like, that looks exactly like me on that paddleboard. I said, it's a slimmed down version of you, but yes. Yeah, that's you on the paddleboard catching the fish. I mean, is that not the cutest thing though? The little bass. This little guy, oh boy, I hope my iPad doesn't fall. This little guy, he's like looking at this worm. This worm going, hey, you look tasty. All right, anyway. Oh my gosh. So that's my level of artistic limitations. It's very limited. Oh, so Lou, okay. That's okay. So this reminds Lou's what you're talking about with the glasses. Just again, like reminds me of Ren, and I'm just such a fan of Ren's. I mean, I just can't help but bring him up. But it's like the stem cell transplant, and the doctor bringing him to LA to get him the stem cell transplant because he thought that it would help him. It's just incredible that there are doctors, medical professionals, or just people in general who see someone in need and will pull you aside to help you. And so, Lou, I'm so glad you were on the receiving end of that. That's incredible. So I'm going to go through, we have a healthy 8 number of people in the chat. That's amazing. I'm so glad. Thank you guys for all being here and for hanging with me. Dr. Spitzberg, first of all, that's a great name. Love that name, Spitzberg. I wanted to just go through a couple of things, and I know there's just a couple people who themselves are dealing with either chronic medical conditions or a family member with a chronic medical condition, and so can relate to this. But the challenges, some of the challenges that we have to, as a chronic condition person, we have to keep in mind, you know, that like Chris, he has to modify his day based on how I am doing. And I have to keep in mind that, you know, his day is highly affected by how I'm feeling day to day. You know, maybe he can't leave the house one day at all because I'm not feeling well, or he's gone and I have to tell him, you know, babe, I kind of really need you to come home. I'm not feeling right, not feeling good. And so it really upends his life. And we're blessed in the fact that, having been a practicing doctor and the long-term disability benefit that I had through work, it really affords us to, that he doesn't have to work. I mean, we struggle. Like, it's a struggle. I was only practicing medicine for about 5 years, and so medical school loans are a real thing, and we've had to deal with that. And obviously, income versus disability is very different. But, oh, Brandy, sweetheart, how long have you had MS? And so I have to keep in mind, and I try to be very aware of the fact that I don't want to overburden him, you know. And again, that's just like me going from being a caregiver, you know, someone taking care of other people to then having to be taken care of was a very difficult transition for me. And and then he and I have just learned together what my daily limitations are. And lucky for me, he is like all over it. He's on it. He pays attention to what is happening with me from moment to moment, and he'll be like, "Okay, I can tell that you need to rest. You need to sit down and just relax, and um, you need to stop. Your mind needs to stop working because with this YouTube channel, like my mind is constantly going on being creative stuff. Like how can we make it better? How can we what can we bring to the channel that's new or different but super authentic? Because you know, you notice a lot of times I wear stuff that's the keep it real. By the way, that's an actual clothing line from an individual. Keep it real, REEL clothing. It's all that stuff is really comfortable and I love it. I wear it all the time, as you'll probably notice in my videos. But it's so fitting for Chris and I because we just are like, we're just gonna keep it real. We just are who we are, and we can't fake being something that we're not. You know, like we can't be exuberant over something that we're just not exuberant over. You know, we can't be over the top, and that's just not us. So, so we do what is real and authentic for us, and but with that, you know, I don't think that really resonates with a lot of people. I think a lot of people want to have that over the top reactor. They want someone who's, you know, crazy energy and blah blah blah, and I'm like, I can barely get out of bed some days. I'm probably not going to be giving you a lot of energy on my reactions. Chris might be able to give you some, but anyway. Oh my goodness. So all right, so 17 years old when you had your first MS symptoms. Oh my gosh. And yeah, to have a husband that picks up the slack is amazing. So, Lou, I'm so glad you're addicted to our channel. Because I like, you know, you can be addicted to the channel while I'm addicted to my Carmex. I can't be like, I can't be more than 3 feet away from a Carmex. It just doesn't work for me. Anyway, so going back to talking about the, you know, how being someone who either is the chronically ill or taking care of someone who is a chronically ill patient, and you understanding that you have to plan days ahead. Like for instance, with this live stream, I'm just sitting here just chit chatting with you guys, but like I had to plan ahead how much rest I needed. I needed to be sure I was eating right. I needed to like space out how often that I considered, like I thought about what I was going to bring to it. Like I can't overdo with my brain in any short amount of time. And like I think people who have thank you, Nikki. People who don't have issues or have family members with issues just take for granted, right? I mean, that was us before I got sick. Just totally take for granted that you can just get up, hop in the shower, get ready to go, leave the house, do whatever, go. And now it's gone to like, I'm a type A personality person anyway, and so now I have to, like on a calendar, lay out how am I going to tackle getting to this date. Like the live stream is going to be on Sunday. What do I have to do on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to make sure that I can actually get out of bed and do a live stream at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning? It's a pain in the ass, but it's like, that's just the way that it is. And so having to plan that out and really think about that. And then, man, this morning, I'm just going to be honest. I showered and I was like, I'm just not feeling the hair. Like I'm not feeling dealing with my hair. So I was like, I'm gonna wear my hat. Wear my blingy little Route 66 hat that I got somewhere along I-44 or I-40 when we were traveling to New Mexico at some truck stop or whatever. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I mean, it's just like, I thought, well, I could take a shower, you know, the night before, and then that way I would just have to maybe like fluff my hair up a little bit. But then it's like, no, hopefully I'll be able to get up in the morning and do a whole shower. No, I was able to wash the stink off. And then that was it. Like, no shaving, no washing hair. Like, forget it. Everybody's gonna just, you know, they're gonna be able to relate. Everybody's gonna understand. But like, oh my god, when one of my first videos, I was like, I'm sorry that I'm assaulting your eyeballs. I'm over it. It is what it is. So, and then, and going back to the shower struggle is so real. It really is. And I've talked on other videos about, and Chris has mentioned the spoon theory, which I love. Jennifer, what's her name? Jennifer, the gal that kind of is credited with coming up with the spoon theory. And it's a lot like in Ren's chapter 3 or 4, maybe, he was talking about pacing. That he was in a ME group, I think it was, and the lady came in, waddled in, and gave him a thing about pacing. And yeah, I agree, Lou. It's take it easy day. Even I'm starting to get really uncomfortable just sitting here in this booth, so I apologize for moving around and stuff. But he's talking about pacing, and pacing to me seems very similar to spoon theory. So, you know, it's like you wake up every day with supposedly this certain amount of spoons, but I mean, I can tell you that my spoon, like the night before, I must not have done my dishes and cleaned my spoons, because today I have a lot less spoons to start with than I did, like, say 2 days ago. You know what I mean? Like, I did not replenish my spoon inventory for today. Oh man. And so yeah, so instead of the full-on shower, it was a quick, super quick shower, and that's okay. So by the way, Chris, he loves doing the reaction videos from the kayak, but he's gotten a little concerned about the health of our channel, because it seems like they are limiting the reach that Ren's material can get. I don't know what's going on. Like, with this UMG starting to put takedown orders on these big reaction channels that have the big music labels, videos and stuff that they've done reactions to, and I only have a couple of Taylor Swift things, and so I know that the bigger channels are really struggling with this music labels affecting their channels. But Chris is concerned that, like, Ren's material might be being suppressed on YouTube, and I don't know if that's true or not, but it feels a little bit true, because our recent videos, and maybe just people just aren't interested in the chapters, is what I think. You know, the chapters videos just may not be as interesting as just a plain song, you know, doing a reaction to a song. But he's concerned about the health of the channel, and whether, you know, we're gonna end up continuing the channel. And I'm like, this has become my baby. We're gonna continue with the channel. I'm not gonna give up on the channel. You're good. Yeah, so the algorithm is difficult to navigate, and I was just watching a video yesterday. There's a guy, oh, I can't remember his name, but he's kind of a tall, skinny dude who he was interviewing one of the YouTube employees who has different channels. Like he has a channel for creator input, a channel for like how to analyze your channel and stuff like that. Anyway, he's a YouTube employee, and he was talking about the algorithm and how to best navigate it. And anyway, so Marianne, you're doing a fine job. And let's see, you said you're from Norway, is that right? I gotta go back. Wow, yeah, from Norway. Sweetheart, you're doing great. Your English spelling is perfect. But yeah, for sure, it's like Marianne was saying, even when you're planning things don't go as planned, and then you just have to modify as you go, and that's okay. I mean, especially as far as the longer that you deal with it, the more that you can troubleshoot it on the fly. Like there's times whenever, I don't know, we'll have planned something, and thankfully my kids are very understanding. I have a almost 6-year-old grandson, and then my son is 29 and my daughter is 27, and I hope I got those ages right, because otherwise I'm in trouble. But they have most of their lives dealt with me to some level with lupus affecting me, so they really understand. And now with this stuff that's going on with the brain and the psychological and neurological stuff that's happening, they've been very understanding. And like my daughter will come and bring a book and just sit with me, because I need to be in a quiet space, but I need someone who's kind of around because of having gone into a couple of episodes of a psychotic break, like what ended up happening in the end of March. If you guys were around to know that we had to take we're gone for a few days the end of March from the channel, is because I had to be life flighted out of Lake Havasu, Arizona. And what ended up happening was I got up one day out of bed, and I ended up next door at my parents' RV laughing like a crazy woman outside at like 5:30 a.m. or something. And my mom intercepted me, and I have very, very little recollection of, like, that was a 4 or 5 day thing that happened. I have such little recollection of it. It's scary. So I'm like, I don't really want to be by myself with my grandson for too long, because I still have some feelings of like what I was feeling in my head before that episode happened. I kind of still am experiencing that, and so it makes me not want to spend a lot of time by myself with my grandson, because I don't want to go into one of those episodes because I don't have any control over it, obviously. And it scares me that if I'm with him alone, like, so again, the planning to change your plans, I was supposed to be here as her backup childcare, and that's just not worked out. So we're changing those plans, and thankfully she's understanding of that. And Nikki, you are so right. If UMG can purchase any distribution companies, yeah, that would, I don't know how you overcome that. I don't know how you overcome that as a artist. I don't know how you overcome that as, and I made a video a day or two ago, whatever, about reaction channels needing to unite, and I hadn't seen any of the change.org petition, but now I've seen it and signed it and donated. But like, there's the fact that they can dominate something that should be free speech protected is scary, and just shows the level of power and greed. But in my video, the whole point of my reacting to Fish Tank Productions, who was watching Joe Rogan, my whole point in that was, you know, I would understand if the music labels can show where they have been financially harmed by reaction channels, the growth and development of reaction channels over the course of the last 2 or 3 years, then I would understand that. But I'm gonna guess that their financial statements are in no way, shape, or form hurting from reaction channels existing. And in fact, my guess is, like many other reaction channels have said, you know, we're bringing in a new audience to some of the artists because we might have a reaction video that someone watches of an artist that they had never heard of, but then they discover, oh wow, that person's really good, and so they're going to go seek them out, whereas they might have never been introduced to them if it hadn't been for watching a reaction video. So I just don't understand how they don't see the benefit, and instead of trying to punish reaction channels, be supportive in some way. And in that way, and the way to be supportive is to just let us react to your stuff without being penalized. That's all we need. We don't need anything else. Just don't penalize us. That really is the crux of it. So kind of got off topic of what the purpose of the live stream is, but it's timely information. Let's see. Oh no, what's happening with the UMG thing really sucks for Chinchilla and Sam Tompkins reaction videos. What's happening there? I don't know. Like, are they making them take them down, or are they being limited globally, or what's happening with Chinchilla and Sam Tompkins? Oh. So while we're finishing up on the topic of the reaction channels and the whole UMG thing, a couple more points that I want to just talk about for today's live stream, and then I think we'll quit at about the hour mark. So I think we're at 52, almost 53 minutes of this live stream, and I think that's a pretty good start for my first live stream to have enough people interested in conversation going to last an hour, and it's pretty amazing. But just in all honesty, I'm starting to get really uncomfortable, and I'm gonna have to hop out from sitting here. Oh, being limited by their labels. Okay. That's just wrong. That's what I felt like. I have felt that way about Ren's material for a while. Like, I have felt like that from the beginning, from High Ren to then us transitioning into some of the Big Push stuff, and Chris being on the kayak and reacting to some of the Big Push songs, and then the traffic that we got from that, and then I did Sick Boy, and the amount of views that we had from that, and then like you go down the line and you can just see that the numbers are declining and declining and declining, and I don't feel like that is an authentic thing. I feel like that's a manipulated thing. I think our views, our videos are being limited, and I think that it is possibly a Ren thing. And I may be way off, like I may be in conspiracy theory land here, which I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it just feels true. Anyway, going back to the live stream, the purpose of the live stream and the goals of it. A couple more things I wanted to mention, and then we're probably gonna hop off of here. Oh, thank you, Brandy. I appreciate that, because I feel like I'm totally flying by the seat of my pants, which isn't always a good thing. So one of the things that's a challenge for, I'm sure, everybody who has chronic medical conditions and issues is being able to just taking that road to being able to accept your new limitations. You know, like for me, again, going from having been a really healthy person, able to do whatever, and then now it's like I can't hardly sit in this. That's like I said, we're at an hour, and probably 30 minutes ago, if I had the choice, I probably would have gotten up out of this booth 30 minutes ago. I wouldn't have sat here this long. But but this is just like a change in lifestyle that I've had to learn to accept that yeah, I'll have this goal of doing this thing, and I can't fully do it because I have these things that come up that limit me from being able to do fully what I want to do. And that's such a frustrating thing. And I've said over and over that I'm still grieving the loss of my career. Like, I still haven't come to the acceptance phase. I go back and forth between depression and denial of the loss of my career. But anyway, so there's that, and I'm sure everybody has their ways of how they cope and come to a place of acceptance of new limitations. And in a future live stream, I'd like to kind of delve into that, like what are some modalities or some ways of coping with the changes, or if you're a caregiver like Lou, taking care of your mom, how has it been to go from, you know, mom taking care of you to now you're taking care of mom, and the transition of that, and the new limitations that mom's got to have with all of this, and how you navigate all of that. And then also just the learning how to accept help. Again, I had mentioned that, you know, I'm a care provider. I'm not a care receiver, and so it's hard to accept help. And then also for the next week, again, I'm planning to, I'm leaving Southwest Missouri because it's wrecking my body, and so I'm going to be going to the mountains in New Mexico, and I hope to get there Saturday the 28th. And so I'm hoping that next Sunday, the 29th at 9 a.m., I'll be up and running for the live stream, and I'll be doing that from, and maybe I'll sit outside in the serenity of the mountains of New Mexico. But that's something that we are still kind of working out the fine details of that, because Chris isn't necessarily coming with me, so I might be having to make that journey myself. We're going to figure that out. Anyway, but yeah, then the next thing would be coping skills. Like, what are the coping skills that we've developed that work best for us, and kind of share some of those. And so I'll be putting some thought into that, and that will be kind of where we go next week with, and just going with the flow. Like, I love this, just being able to chit chat, and I love the fact again that it's kind of a smaller group of people, because it's easy to keep up with the chat, and we can have a meaningful conversation back and forth. I love that. So I really appreciate you guys coming and joining me this morning. Like, I can't even thank you enough. This is perfect, because before Chris left, he said, can you imagine if you had like 10 people? I said, I'll be happy with 5. Like, 5 people I think is a good start. I think that's a great number to start with, and so that's been about where we've been this whole time. And I appreciate you guys so much, and I love seeing you guys in our comment section. So keep hanging in there with us, keep supporting us, don't give up on us. Sometimes we may be a little bit boring, but I'm hoping to get Chris more involved, and yeah, get him in the kayak when the weather straightens up, and getting more, because man, I enjoy watching his videos. I enjoy watching his nature reaction videos. I love them, and I hope that the weather will be cooperative to get him back in the kayak to start producing more of those, because I miss them. All right, everybody, we are going to sign off, and as you know, our sign off is, everybody have a great day, smile, and make somebody else's day a little bit brighter. Bye, y'all. And yes, thank you everybody. And thank you for the likes. Thank you for liking. I always forget. All right, guys. Take care. We will chat next week. Bye-bye.